your relationship with God. I'm going to give you 3 tools that are going to transform your walk with God. And these were specific things said by Jesus. And these 3 things Jesus actually expects us to do. They're the 3 whens of the Bible. It's the only time when he says when you do these. So he's expecting us to do it. Number 1 is when you pray. That one's pretty straightforward. I feel like a lot of Christians are probably doing that. Number 2 is when you give. Not enough Christians do it, and it's sad because they're missing out on such amazing blessings. Literally, the coolest testimonies that I have has been through me giving, and my faith and my relationship with God has grown so much through giving. Number 3 is fasting. I know very little amount of Christians who actually do water fast. Side note, if you're under 18, I do not recommend water fast. But let's talk about the benefits of fasting. So you're killing the flesh. You're removing this barrier between you and God. Jesus gave his body as a living sacrifice, and so through fasting, we're sacrificing our body, we're sacrificing our flesh. So if you struggle with flesh and temptations and sin, fasting is for you.
I was also thinking about getting a sticker on my G-top.
I'm so glad you asked. I'm gonna give you a quick list of a few, but then I'm gonna show y'all my favorite source. Y'all gonna watch this whole video, trust me. Alright, for the record, that ain't Jesus, but these people are ancient historians and other witnesses who lived around the time of Jesus and his disciples, as well as the early church, who were not Christian, but they actually confirmed many different aspects of what took place around that time. And they spoke against Christianity, but confirmed different aspects of what the Bible actually says. So what you got to do is you just got to study up on them, see what they said, and see what type of insights they give. All right, now I got that out the way. I'm going to hit y'all with this heat. Meet Emperor Guangwu of the Han Dynasty. Now, I know y'all wondering what this man know about Jesus. Nothing. He ain't know nothing about Jesus. But the historical records that was kept in his lifetime connected with the life of Jesus in a way that'll blow your mind. All right, so we know at the time of Jesus' crucifixion, Luke records that a darkness came upon the earth. Now let's see what the emperor said about it. So in the Chronicles of Emperor Guangwu, he records, yin and yang have mistakenly switched, and the sun and the moon were eclipsed. The sins of all the people are now on one man, and pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. What you talking about, Guangwu? And then it was also recorded, eclipse on the day of Guihai, man from heaven died. I wonder who that was. All right, so what's the deal, man? They ain't had no Skype back then. China ain't nowhere near Jerusalem. I know y'all wondering what's going on. So some of the best astronomers this world has ever known come out of China. I said astronomers, not astrologers. They got them too. So we should know that the heavens declare the glory of God, and God speaks to us through them from on high. Y'all remember the star that the wise men followed from the east to the place of Jesus' birth? Well, they synced it too.
I seen it.
Check out what they said. So this comment signified the old replacing the new. Covenant maybe? Pause to read. And this is just a snippet of some of the information that's out there. Believe it or not, China has some of the deepest roots in biblical history. If y'all want a part 2 to this, hit like and follow and see me in the comment section. Alright, y'all, I'm back with a part 2. About to show y'all how the Chinese people actually served the God of the Jews before the Jews did, if that make any sense. Alright, so if y'all know the biblical history, there was a flood, and then after the flood, the Tower of Babel. At the Tower of Babel is where God confused the language and thus creating new languages. You should see evidence of that in history and not just the Bible. And since we're focused on the history of the Chinese people, let's see where theirs began. You guessed it, a flood. According to the ancient Chinese record Shu Jing, at the beginning of the very first dynasty in China, they was trying to figure out how to channel a flood, a big flood. Now, I ain't saying it was the same flood, but as you see that their history started with the Shia dynasty back in 2070 BC. And just 50 years before that, from the biblical history, the Tower of Babel was being built, which is again where God created new languages. The biblical flood took place around 2350 BC, which would indicate that after the Tower of Babel, when God split up the people, the Chinese people were dealing with the remaining water left over from the Great Flood. You know, it all just didn't disappear overnight. I hope y'all follow me because this is where it get interesting. If y'all watch some of my old videos, y'all know that in the ancient Hebrew alphabet, every letter has a symbol and a meaning attached to it. In a similar way, when the Chinese language was created, they used symbols or pictographs to convey a message. Each character in each word kind of tells a story, and some of that is still reflected in the language today. So this is how you write the word boat. And these are the symbols that make the word boat. A vessel with 8 people. What do 8 people have to do with the word boat? Wait, how many people are on Noah's Ark? Great! Now this is the word create, and this is how that word was created. God spoke life to dust, and it walked. You could break that word down even further to God breathed into dust, and it became alive. And that's how you get the word talk or spoke. This is the current form of the word forbidden, and this is how it was created. God had 2 trees in the garden, and Adam and Eve couldn't eat one because they ate the other. Now, this is the word naked. All right, there's 2 ways to break that down. Man ate the fruit, so now he naked, or he need clothes because he ate the fruit and he naked. All right, my favorite. The only way to get me righteous is for a hand and a spear with a sheep to cover me. Bruh, I can speak the gospel in Chinese, y'all. And there's so much more where that came from. Now, if these stories were just myths, why was it so important for them to put it in their language? Let me introduce y'all to the God that they serve. So if we go to Exodus chapter 6, we know that God at one point revealed himself as El Shaddai. Well, if you would have spoke Cantonese, they would have known him as Shangdai. And he was the very first God that Chinese people were ever known to serve. Hit like and follow for more.
Write this down. You get to heaven and you don't find me there.
God, please show me the right decision. Make it clear for me. Like really clear. I'm kind of an idiot.